Hello, my name is Irby Johnson. I'm a CPA who helps clients with their QuickBooks issues. Today I'd like to go over with you the preparation of Form 1099. As you probably know, those contractors who are not incorporated and who receive over $600 from you during the course of a year, calendar year, should receive a Form 1099. So now I'm going to show you the steps that are necessary to ensure that your 1099s print out properly. The first thing is that you ought to have each of your contractors who's not a corporation who may receive $600 or more fill out a Form W-9. The Form W-9 reports the contractor's name, address, and tax ID number. That tax ID number may be a Social Security number or an employer identification number. Let's look at the vendors to make sure that we have set them up properly. We'll just go to the vendor center and select each of those that we want to look at. In this case, Albert Booker, CPA. His name is there, his address. We'll check his tax ID number. In this case, an employer identification number is there. And most importantly, we've ticked vendor eligible for 1099. Now, we also just want to check and make sure which account he's going to usually be charged to, and that's accounting and legal expenses. Looks okay so far. So let's look at another one, Evers Reed, and in this case we have the address. Again, in this case a Social Security number, and we've ticked off eligible for 1099, and the account is going to be solicitations. Now this is important because this is where we sometimes run into issues, because what we have to do is to go to Edit, Preferences, Tax 1099, go to Company Preferences, and we'll look for a couple of things. One, the threshold is $600. As we indicated, those receiving Form 1099 are those who have been paid more than $600 during the calendar year. Now, just make sure that all of your vendors who are not incorporated understand that even if they do not receive a Form 1099, they are still required to report any income that was received by them. In this case, we'll just check. We notice we have multiple accounts listed, and this is typically where some problems are encountered. Office expense, but we just want to make sure that we have ticked off, and that is ticked to the left. Here we go, accounting and legal expenses. Looks okay so far. We'll say OK, then we'll go back to vendors, print 1099s. I think it's a good idea to run your reports to make sure that everything looks okay. In this case, we have 4 vendors. So that looks okay. We'll close that out. Then we've just mapped the accounts. We've checked the mapping. But this, again, you may want to check that. We will then run a report. At this time, this report tells us that in box 7, non-employee compensation on Form 1099, these are the numbers that will be shown. Looks okay so far. Then we will say print 1099s. Now, what we will make sure of is that we have the proper year, last calendar year. In this case, we're printing them for the calendar year 2009. All of them are checked properly. I think it's probably a good idea to preview the 1099s. We'll preview the 1099s by bringing them into our focus and then going down to make sure that they look okay. We will then physically print the Form 1099s and the 1096, who is the form that summarizes them, and we'll just say accountant. And we'll click OK, and this will then print our Form 1096. That is all there is to it. I hope that you smoothly prepare your 1099s and make sure that you get them out in a timely manner.